is the owner of Rated Stare, which is an accessories line, and I just want to talk to her a little bit, you know, about her style, how she got to where she is today, because her collection is amazing, as you'll see in some of the clips. So, you know, kind of how was your style when you were growing up? Kind of what made you stand out, or what made you first get interested in
fashion? When I was younger, I decided, I distinctly remember this moment when I was in the 6th grade. I grew up in kind of a preppy area, and everybody was wearing like Abercrombie at that time. And I remember I was like, Mom, I am never wearing Abercrombie again. I don't want to look like anybody else. And I remember that. Never wore it since, obviously, as you can tell. I'm wearing green lipstick, please. I don't wear Abercrombie. But I made that declaration in 6th grade, being like, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be the person when you walk down the street, people are like, look at what she's wearing. And that's kind of what my brand is about, and that's my personal style. Ready to Stare is about, you know, being that person when you walk down the street, you're the one that people are like, that girl, she's got a lot of confidence. I wouldn't wear that green lipstick, but she can. And that's what my brand is all about. So it's very much a part of my personal style as well.
And kind of how did Rated Stare come about? Because, you know, you had a standout style and a lot of someone like, oh my gosh, I want to make jewelry this way.
Yeah, so I started actually in the fashion scene here doing vintage with my brand called the Sometimes Store. So I started doing vintage first, and I loved it. It was very much, we were very part of that, you know, party sale, selling at bars, selling out of an apartment. We were very much a part of that whole scene, and it just got to a point where we all kind of went our own direction, and I said, you know, I could do vintage again, or I could do jewelry. I took jewelry making in college. My grandfather was a jewelry maker, and he kind of kept sending me boxes of supplies, being like, here's some copper, here's some, you know, pliers, make some jewelry. So it was kind of just in the back of my mind, like, you know, you've done great with jewelry. You made a name for yourself, or you've done great with vintage. You made a name for yourself with the Sometimes Store doing vintage. Try something else. And that's how I started doing Ready to Stare. So I kind of just started making jewelry for myself, and then I kind of got the confidence from there to be like, I can make jewelry. I can do this. So.
And what was like your first piece that you did?
The first piece that I did, I mean, I am a trained metalsmith, so I know how to solder and cut and everything like that. So this is the first ring that I made ever.
Okay.
I have a few other pairs. So when I was in college, you know, it was very like, it was a curriculum. You know, you got to make a ring with a stone, and you got to make a pair of earrings, and you got to do all this stuff. So this is the first ring I've ever made, and I did like a bracelet, I did a few other things. But when I actually started my business, I don't know if you watch Project Runway at all? Yeah. Okay. So remember how Anya would wear those earrings? I love those earrings. I was like, I don't know where to buy those. I'm just going to make my own. And that was the first pair of earrings that I made when I was kind of starting Ready to Stare. So I did pieces in college, not as a business, just, you know, in my class. And then when I started my business, it was because I wanted those Anya earrings from Project Runway. And that was the first pair I made.
And as you guys can probably tell, we're at her 1-year anniversary party, and kind of what do you think was probably like your biggest hurdle trying to get throughout the past year just to get to this spot that you're at?
Yeah. I think I tried every single thing they tell you to do, or maybe they don't even tell you to do. I work here at Blair Chic, and I live down the street, so I walked by every day, and I kind of made it up in my mind. I'm gonna sell in Blair Chic. I love the style, I love everything. So I just walked in here, and I brought my jewelry, and I said, here's my jewelry. Let's talk about it. And that's basically what I've done the entire year, is here's my jewelry, let's talk about it. Because I think when you see me with the jewelry, it makes sense. And so that's kind of what I did. You know, I am outgoing, but in some ways, being a business owner and being a creative business owner, you are your brand. And so this past year has really taught me, like, if you want your brand out there, you have to be your brand. So you're the representative. You need to talk to people you might not normally talk to. You need to make these relationships with stylists. And so that's what I did. You know, it was a lot of putting myself out there and being the brand. And that was the biggest hurdle, is just doing that over and over and over again.
So what would you say would probably be for, say, a girl or a woman who's like, oh, I want to start my own business, or like an accessory or clothing or something like that? What would be your one piece of advice for them throughout the whole thing?
First of all, don't be afraid. Absolutely, you can do it. I tell this to people all the time, is that if you have a good idea, you can do it. I still do everything for the most part myself. I'm the accountant, I'm the marketing, I do my own graphic design sometimes. You know, I do everything, and as long as you have the idea and the drive to do it, you can absolutely do it, but don't be afraid to ask people who have gone before you for help. I'm only a year old, and I can't tell you how many people have come to me asking for my advice, and the people that I went to, some of them were here today at the party, helped me figure out how to sell on Etsy, helped me figure out how to get into editorial photo shoots. Those are the people that I went to, and so you have to, as women, I think especially as creative business owners, we need to help each other, and I'm always down to help people figure out how to do it, because it's a lot of trial and error, but certainly the people that came before you can help you.
Can you tell us a little bit what your inspiration is kind of behind each collection that you put out?
Certainly, and when I started, I just kind of didn't think about it as doing collections or anything like that. I kind of just started making stuff, but with a name like Ready to Stare, a clear play on ready to wear, I like the idea of doing collections. It makes sense. So I do, starting in fall 2012, I do a fall 2012 collection as well as a special edition collection, which in that case was the major collection named in honor of my grandfather who recently passed in September when it came out. So I do the regular fall collection, which is what you'd expect from Ready to Stare. It's the big, over-the-top statement pieces. And then with the major collection in that case, I kind of did pieces that you might not expect, but that makes sense with Ready to Stare. They're a little bit smaller, they're a little bit more understated, but they're different. So when it came time for spring, I did what you expected for spring 2013. Of course, I got a big lion choker. I got big bamboo hoops with leather. That's what you expect from Ready to Stare. But the beach collection is the special edition collection. It has, you know, light colored blue beads. It has shell earrings. They're still statements, but it's not maybe what you'd expect. And I like the idea of having the special collections, special edition collections, as a way to play with something you might not expect and give and reach a different customer than maybe the 2013 spring collection reached. If that makes sense.
Who would you say is the Ready to Stare girl? Like, how would you describe her if you gave her like 3 words?
If I could give her 3 words, she's confident. Number 1, Ready to Stare is about confidence, because you're not walking down the street wearing a green pair of dinosaur earrings if you're not a confident woman. So number 1, she's confident. She's bold, obviously goes along with the confidence, and she doesn't need you to tell her what to do. She, you know, she's in your face, but in an understated way. You know, I always say RuPaul, Beyonce, those women are my muses, because it's like what they do is so confident, but they don't need to talk about it. They don't need to say I'm the best, because everybody knows they're the best. And that's what the Ready to Stare woman is. My good friend Brittany Julius, she actually was one of my first models, but she's a very talented writer here in Chicago. She is the Ready to Stare woman. She has the gold harness and the silver harness, and she wears it all the time. And she very much embodies that. She walks on the street, she doesn't walk, she struts. You know what I mean? In a harness at the same time. You know, and that is the and she was my first model, and it makes sense because she embodies what Ready to Stare is all about. So, you know, I got my celebrity examples and my real world examples. So I got to thank my friend for that.
And like we said, we're here at her 1-year anniversary party. What would you say you're most proud of in this moment right now in relation to Ready to Stare?
I think what I'm most proud of being at this party is seeing the relationships that I built over the past year, because to me, I can make all the pretty jewelry in the world, but if no one wants to wear it, if no one cares about it, it doesn't mean anything. It's all about who you are as a person, representing yourself, representing your brand, and being able to put yourself out there, be confident in what you've created. And to me, being here today, I did tear up a little bit during my little speech. It's, you know, I know my grandfather would be proud of the way that, you know, I put myself out there. His very last words to me were, make a name for yourself. I couldn't be more perfect, because I feel like today, sitting here at this 1-year anniversary party, I feel like, you know, I have made a name for myself here. For the women who would go places looking for jewelry and are like, I don't want those studs. I don't want what everybody else is wearing at Forever 21. I want something different. And that's what I feel like I'm serving a need here. And being here today, I feel like I've done that.
And what do you see for the future for Ready to Stare?
For the future, I see more growth. I mean, if you went from spring 2012 to spring 2013 over here with the jewelry, you can tell I'm growing. I'm taking on more challenging pieces, using new materials. I'm not gonna ever rest on my laurels. I'm not gonna make dinosaur earrings for the next 5 years. I'm gonna find, okay, what's the next dinosaur earring, or what's the next harness, what's next? And that's very much what I'm about. What I'm doing isn't now, it's next. And that's what I've always been about.
And as you guys see, I'm here with Alysse. I want to thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me. We love your stuff. Make sure you guys go and check out our website, greateststare.com. I have pictures and links all in the post. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We're so excited, and you guys are going to love the stuff once you see it. So, till next time, talk to you guys later.
Crisscross, TLC, baggy jeans. I was a tomboy when I was younger, so I was in the TLC phase.